Hi everyone, welcome back to the Geordie View. So, this is a bit of a transfer video we're going to do. First off, we're going to talk about DeAndre Yedlin leaving for Galatasaray. We'll maybe expect him to leave in this month with his contract come to an end at the end of the season. I was all for it. I mean, I want him sold in the summer, but he had, one or two good games. I'm like, okay, maybe we can keep him for the rest of the season. I wasn't wanting to offer him a contract at that point because I thought, all right, we'll reassess. I was more case of like reassess at the end of the season, but we'll let him go now. There was obviously talk of him going on a pre-contract, which meant he would have left at the end of the season. But obviously he's left yesterday. I mean, the Chronicle was saying, those issues with tax stuff, so obviously it affected his weekly wage, but the move was sealed. Now, what does worry me is, obviously, I think having Manquillo is better than Yedlin, but I'm worried if he gets injured, do a turn to Emil Kraft, who I've not been convinced by, because I'm brought in a new right back, and I'm hoping, now that we've got a new space in the 25-man squad, that we do not fill it with one of the players that we left out. Christian Atsu, Henri Servette, Atraf Lazar, obviously Rolanda Aarons has left for Huddersfield Town, because those lads are still at the club. Obviously, hopefully they'll be out the door in the summer. For me, especially because none of them are right backs, and I'd rather, if I'm honest, play one of the younger lads than one of them. But Yedlin, he's spent 4.5 years. He's been a good servant. He came to us in the championship season under Rafa Benitez. He did impress us. In the Premier League, he's obviously found it a lot harder. I remember that Watford game where he was caught out 2 or 3 times for their goals, including scoring an own goal. But obviously he was a lot better in the second half of the 17-18 season. He did give us some good moments. He got the cross in for Dwight Gale to give us the lead at Old Trafford. Unfortunately went on to lose 4-1. Also, I remember he set up Perez as equaliser when we beat Arsenal 2-1 towards the end of the season. And if I remember correctly, he did pocket Eden Hazard. He kept Eden Hazard quiet when we beat Chelsea 3-0 on the final day. 18-19 season. That moment, I'll never forget that moment when he scored an equaliser at the Etihad. I was coming in with no hope because we'd just been beaten 3-1 by Nottingham Forest in midweek. But I was like, what is going on when he equalised? Obviously, we lost the game 2-1, but it's still one of the best moments of the season for me. Towards the end of that season, he kind of looked a lot more shirty. I remember, but in particular that Palace game, I mentioned actually yesterday on the preview when gave away the DAP penalty for Milivojevic to score. He gave that away, and he lost his place to Manquillo. Manquillo has done so much better since then. He's gotten better with age. Yedlin missed the start of the 1920 season, but he looked good, a lot better when he came in. Very good against Man United, and won 1-0. Scored that brilliant header against Bournemouth, the only goal he will have ever scored for us at St James's Park. When came from behind to beat them 2-1. So Maxim with the cross, he just dives in. I remember the anxiety. Is it going to get disallowed because VAR haven't looked for offside? Thankfully, it got allowed. But he wasn't really as good after, the injury picked up soon afterwards. Manquillo overtook him again. And even after the Premier League he lost his starting place. And even after the Premier League got suspended, he looked really out of his depth. I remember the Man City game when we lost 5-0. Also the game against his old club Tottenham when we lost 3-1. I was just like, just get rid of him in the summer. He wants to move away, especially Conrad coming up to an end. But he did come in, in December this year. I mean, he had some nightmare games. Man City again on Boxing Day, and Brentford as well. Then again, everyone had a nightmare in that game for me. But he played well against Liverpool. I thought, all right, maybe we could keep him for the rest of this. He'd be good for the rest of the season, and maybe we could give him another contract. But nah, he's left now for Galatasaray, and I wish him the best of luck. You know, we might see Demba Ba and Papi Cisse, because I'm sure they're both playing in Turkey at the minute. And obviously Mesut Ozil when Galatasaray play Fenerbahce. Oh, what a dark game that is. I mean, that is probably not a game I'd want to go to for my own safety. Yeah, we'll move on to Joe Willock, who came in from Arsenal. As I'm speaking now, right, well, we'll get onto it in a bit. Well, he had time to think about whether he wanted to come up to Newcastle on loan, and he said yes, but he arrived late for the medical, and it got just so late. The club just put out an announcement at 11 o'clock as the window was about to shut that we had signed him. It wasn't him on the Newcastle shirt or even wearing it. It was just a photo from playing for one of the England youth sides. But then he gave us a video message from wearing a Nike shirt, saying, you know, thanks for the messages. So, as I'm recording, still haven't seen any photos. I'm hoping I do by the time this video goes out. But we're looking at Joe Willock. His positions, obviously he's mainly a central midfielder, but he can also play as an attacking midfielder and on the right hand side. So you could say that's similar to Elliot Anderson. Right, we're looking at his stats. He's played 18 games for Arsenal this season. 3 goals and 3 assists. They've all come in the Europa League. But this is a good chance for him to step up, play against potentially play regular Premier League football, which is what Arsenal will be wanting. Because with all due respect, no disrespect to the teams Arsenal just play, but they're not on. But I don't think really they're Premier League level. Look, he doesn't really have any significant strengths according to WhoScored.com, but he does need to work on his finishing, his aerial duels, and his passing. But I mean, that might be why his style is kind of like short passing and likes to dribble. We'll move on to actually his England stats. These are for England youth teams. He scored 5 goals in 19 games, and 4 of them have come in the 7 games he's played for the under-20 side under ex-Newcastle coach Paul Simpson, who was here under the Steve McLaren era. And potentially could go to the under-21 Euros in March, which they will be during like the March international break, and that's the group stages. After the season ends, that's when they play the knockout games before the main Euro starts. Obviously, he might have just went back to Arsenal by then, but he'll want to get a place at the under-21 Euros. But what does it mean going forward, midfielders? So I think we've got about 6 midfielders now. Almiron, Longstaff, Brothers, Shelby, Hayden, and now Willock, and also Jeff Hendrick. But there is a bit of competition there, but I'm hoping this doesn't hinder. We're not hindering the progress again for Matty Longstaff. Because it kind of happened last year when we brought in Nabil Bentaleb. And he was terrible, but surely Willock cannot be any worse than him. I think he will do well at Newcastle. There is the possibility maybe he'll come back for next season if he does so well. I'm hoping to more like Kennedy from, when he came in on loan initially, rather than Danny Rose, who will hyped him up, but he never lived up to it. But welcome to Newcastle, Joe Willock. I hope you can do well. So that's the end of the video. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, check out my social stuff in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you probably tomorrow for the Crystal Palace match review.